Okay, so I'm working on another video of this day, to which is, what is it, August 7th of 2025, okay? But I ain't gonna follow up on it in terms of upload it today, okay? I just uploaded a video here, right? Where do I fit in? August 7th, because today's the 7th, right? Of 2025. Now, and of course, I've got a couple of lives. Okay, so in the meantime, we've got this one here, Africa on the Move, right? One flag at a time. Number 167, because I've been working on some live streams. Where's my finger? There it is. Okay? All right. I was just at my neighbor's having a little meeting in regards to what we're working on here. And we looked at this video on his computer, which is at arm's length. He didn't even know this channel existed. So anyway, the point is, YouTube didn't count the view. Isn't that interesting? Nobody can say I'm not being shadow banned. Now, was it because we didn't watch the whole video and therefore it became unregisterable in terms of a view? Or did we not watch the video long enough? Because I didn't stand there and watch the whole video with him. I just said, this last time I was here and I recorded, you remember, well, it's up on YouTube. He goes, oh, really? And I said, yeah, like, you know, right? Because he's learning about the foundation and whatnot, right? So he clicked that on and we were looking at it. So why it didn't get registered, people? Do you see what's going on here? What? What am I doing so bad here in this video that requires nutballs to come in and do stupid crap like that, as YouTube, with their antics, in my opinion, continue to shadow ban my channel by not even registering legitimate views that are coming from an outside source. In other words, it's not from my computer that I was showing him. I was showing him from his computer, which is away from my house. So it technically should register. Isn't that what that impression clicks is about? Let's go to dashboard. Okay, so where do I fit in? Eventually, I should get some sort of analytics going on in here. And look, one view. Okay, I just posted it. But besides that point, eventually I'm going to get some analytics in here if I don't do another video anytime soon, which I don't plan on to because I'm busy doing something else. This here is for the next video, whatever the next video will be, right? So it will tell you impression, you know, number of impressions. In other words, I think what happens is when people come to a video, okay, when people come to a video and they go into the video, you know, they're coming in from, you know, wherever they come in from, the watch page, or okay, whatever. So we're going back to... And then, because they don't want to sit there and watch the whole freaking video. Where am I? Oh my God. What's going on here? Where am I? Yeah, you see, my eyes are getting bad. Okay, so what they do is they'll start watching it. Right? They'll start watching it. The camcord here because... Right, and they don't want to listen, take the time, so they move forward. I think this is what impression clicks are. This one works. And they'll just keep maybe doing that, and they'll watch a little bit, or whatever, they'll listen. They lose interest because, you know, whatever. That's just the way people have been conditioned to be these days. They don't know how to concentrate. You know, they don't like to pay attention to things for very long unless it's really satisfying for them. Outside of that, they move on very quickly, right? So that's why you get a lot of splitting in between videos with the flashing of this and the flashing of that, because through television over the years, to market things, they found that if you do 3-second flashes of this, or you do little clips, and then how it does something to the brain where it keeps it, I suppose, interested in whatever it is that you're watching, versus streamline, ongoing monologue, unless, of course, it's really something you're interested in, like, a story or something. Other than that, so people, this is what they do, they listen for a little while.
So
they don't like what I have to say or whatever, and then they maybe move forward. I think that's what impression clicks are. And then what happens is, I
suppose it's interesting.
I guess, however they gauge the average view time on the video based on those impression clicks,
years or whatever,
with the amount of
what is that called?
Time that the video is watched, then they give you an average. They just give you an average on the They just give you an average on the total amount of view time that a person has spent watching that particular video, based on the impression, the impression clicks, which I just showed you to what I think that's what that is. So when I was next door and we were watching that video, we didn't watch it for very long, because that's not what I went over there for, was to make them watch the video. I just brought the video up to let them know that it's there, and what I have to deal with when it comes to copyright, and it's a hit and miss. And not is it only a hit and miss, but you can have something up on the server for 4 years playing with music on it, come back, click on your video, and found out that it's been muted, or it's been hidden, and you can't even, you can see it in this part of YouTube, but it will come up on their server as unavailable, because the copyright changed over a period of 4 years. So I informed them of that, right? Because, every now and then I have, especially when I'm out doing stuff in the community, and right now I'm doing stuff in the community. This is all community-based in terms of, nonprofit, right? And I get penalized for that. And not only do I get penalized for that, it seems, but I'm also not even getting the proper view count, in my opinion, because that was completely at third party. There's absolutely no reason for it to not be registering. It was on for at least a minute, right? I would think a minute of a view coming in, warrants it showing that it was viewed by another person versus just staying there. Because that's how you skew the numbers. Yeah. So I'm almost, I'm going to do, at some point in the future, I'm going to go back to that very same computer, and I'm going to pick a video, 1 or 2 videos, and I'm going to just ask them, let me play them for 5 or 10 minutes per video, just to see what happens on my end, if YouTube will even register them. Maybe because we only looked at it for about a minute, and maybe it wasn't long enough for it to register. Maybe you got to watch a video at least for 3 minutes within the video through those impression clicks, assuming that's how they operate, because it's all based on average in terms of people don't normally watch a 22-minute long video, never mind one for an hour and a half, or at least an hour and 9 minutes, I should say, right? Straight through without any interruptions, because they just don't have the patience for it. They're looking for the goods. you know, unless, of course, you know, they're looking for the goods to cause trouble, or because they're truly interested in keeping up with the story as it unfolds. However, that story, because I have multiple stories going here, okay? Right? Over time. But for the majority of people, they can't be bothered with that because they're on a mission for something else, looking for something else. Other content satisfies them, right? Latrice Allen can retain her viewers. I use her as an example simply because she puts herself out there, and YouTube obviously sends traffic her way. And when you look at her content, like I said, compared to my content, right? I mean, like, I might as well go buy myself some crabs and let people watch me eat crabs and just whatever, talk whatever, nothing, like I said, of real substance. Don't stand up for anything. Don't fight for anything. You know, don't challenge anything. Don't look outside of the box, right? Sure, you can tippy-toe around it and you can mention it to make it sound like you're aware or you care, but when the rubber meets the road, I mean, and people will sit there and watch the whole bloody thing. Where me, they come to my channel and I don't know what the hell they're looking for, but they're not finding it, that's for sure. And if they are, well, I wouldn't even know, because who's to say that, like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Total bullshit. It's what I don't like about YouTube. Like, it's fake. Right? And I'm not going to sit there and say it's not fake when I get treated this way. Okay? Like, what we're doing, what these people are doing with me is not a joke. Okay? This is serious stuff. It's legitimate. And with YouTube not even documenting the view that just happened a half an hour ago or in a bit or whatever it was when I was there. I was just there 45 minutes ago watching this video on a completely independent, different freaking computer that's nowhere inside my house. So there's no reason to not show that. Unless, of course, it didn't meet that threshold where you, as a viewer to a video, have to watch the video for at least 4 to 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes before it would be listed as a legitimate view. That's the only thing that I can think as to why they didn't list it down, because we didn't watch it long enough. But I can test it on a different video. I'll pick random 2 or 3 videos, let them run for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll come home and I'll see if YouTube is listing them. Yeah. Because that's just shady. Right? But you see, it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do and I want to do. Right? And in what I believe in. How about we just leave it on that? Okay. I'm just way too sensitive. I'm so serious. I'm struggling here, people. My freaking eyes are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You don't even know, I got like 15 pairs of fucking glasses here. Nothing's working. Oh my God. And I'm working on paperwork. I'm talking to bank personnel and bank managers and stuff, right? You know, I'm trying to set up something here for the community, okay? With the DJs and stuff, eh? Well, DJ Steve, he's kind of mad at me. And it breaks my heart, believe it or not. So much, though, that I'm going to just talk it out and just, right? Oh, I feel like crying, man. Like, you don't even know. What's the date today? As if I don't got enough people, well, against me. I don't think DJ Steve is against me. He's just mad at me. Because I hurt his feelings. That's what happened, people. I hurt his feelings. And through hurting his feelings, my feelings are getting hurt. Because we have history, right? And I made a mistake. But the thing is, he wouldn't understand my circumstances and what I'm going through with my eyesight, especially. That's the big one here, right? Like, people don't, they see me moving around and doing things, or like if I'm stationary, I'm looking at a computer with glasses, well, not these ones, maybe these ones, I can see better. So of course, in my mind, I tend to sit here. I've been working on my playlist, but what does it do? It burns out my eyes. It makes my eyes even worse. But even when I'm not on the computer, my eyes get worse. So I don't know what this doctor did with this cataract lens, but ever since he's put it in, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Now it's getting real bad. So anyway, it is August 9th of 2025, right? What is it? When did DJ Steve have his party?
No, I think it was like last Saturday.
Was it last Saturday? Like a whole week has gone by already? Holy crumb. A whole week has gone by.
Was that a Saturday or Wednesday?
No,
It's not Wednesday.
no, it was Saturday. I've lost track of time. Because I've been on the phone and, working on, putting hours and hours actually into, working on my playlist as I'm, making a list. I'm back up. I'm copying and pasting the title with the links. So, I'm downloading the video from YouTube and then, right, and then put it onto an external hard drive so that if something's missing on my other hard drives, we have at least some sort of backup. But besides that point, the last couple of days, I've been trying to network with DJ James, and apparently he didn't get a chance to hook up with DJ Steve. So when I phoned DJ Steve, I asked him, how did it go, right? Did DJ James hook up with you? No, he didn't. I'm like, what do you mean, no, he didn't? Because I hadn't talked to James yet. The last time I talked to James, before the last time I talked to James, he was going to the hall to go meet Steve. I said, okay, well, I don't know if I can make it, though, because it was hot. Andre said it was 36 degrees Celsius. I don't know. All I know, it was hot. And I wasn't up to walking there with the stroller under the hot sun with Amari. Because, I was just... I'm wobbling on Uncle John's cane this last little while. Right? It would have been a very slow, long walk. And with Amari having the seizures 2 times in the last month under the blurring sun, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't go. I said, okay, well, you got that base covered, James. I thought that he could hook up with DJ Steve on his own without me, because James gave the impression that he was confident enough to do it without me. He didn't need me to do it, right? And the last time I seen Steve, quote unquote, in the physical sense, was in 2012 when we did our last park event together. And then Andre went missing. And as soon as Andre went missing in January, there was no 2013 park event, 2014 park. There was nothing. It was Fight for Andre. We did bills for Andre. Right? At Bingy's restaurant in those days, eh? You know what I'm saying? And then Uncle John went missing. Who wants to do a park event when you're being gang stalked by a bunch of weirdos that's stealing inheritances, fighting with the bank, fighting with health authorities? You're not going to get out there and, right? And then what happened? Shimei got murdered. Wow, I'm going to go out and do a park event. Sure. Yeah, right. That was in 2018. Right? And then what happened? In 2020, next thing you know, Sierra's lured off to her death and she's dead. As if I'm going to do a park event. As we got the city of Surrey coming in and in between all that, back to back to back over a period of years, keeping me working in the yard with the whip on my back, and that's just a fact. Year here, year there, 5 times over a course since 2014, right? And we're 2025 now, and they showed up in January of 2025, right? To distract me away from working on lawsuits or fighting for my family members and trying to get them back, or fighting for justice for my daughters that were murdered, right? And getting the government to do something about it in terms of putting criminals in jail and not letting them walk. And to monitor illegal organ harvesting to prevent it from happening with a guaranteed stamp in the province of British Columbia, Canada, that it's not. As if I'm going to go out and do a park event. Sure. All right. Well, that's all now. I don't want to say water under the bridge, but, you know, I'm making an attempt to do the right thing by the foundation. The foundation never belonged to me. A foundation, when you found a foundation, it belongs to the people. Somebody over there at that little house there with the grass asked me, well, is it you? Do you own it? No, I don't own it. I'm president to it. I'm the founder to it, but I don't own it. I never owned the foundation. I own the trademark, but not the foundation. Right? This is what people don't understand. Most people, anyway. And so, as a spokesperson to the foundation, I'm passing on the torch. I told James already, this time next year, I don't think I'm going to be able to see much of anything. Guess what that means? You're going to be appointed the president. Because I'm president. I've been president this whole time. But clearly, I can't break that glass ceiling. Right? Too many barriers in front of me. One after another, after another, after another. But it never made me stop from giving up. Like, it never made me stop and give up. Fold my cards, you know, throw everything out in the garbage, even though other people would love for me to do that because, you know, they could never even attempt to do what I tried to do, never mind be successful at anything, right? So therefore, they would want me to fail, right? But I believe in the foundation. I believe in everything that I wrote. And I still believe in the community. It's just a matter of connecting with the community where I don't even have to fit in. Because the next president, hopefully, will be more successful than I was as a president. Which will carry on the foundation long after I'm gone. And I hope for those people's sake that are involved will have a better time with life than I had with my family. I'm not going to stay quiet on what happened to my family. I'm going to fight for their rights. But I'm also not going to forfeit on the foundation. So anyway, I hadn't spoken, to Steve for a long time in any kind of... Anyway, he really wanted me to go to this event that he had on last Saturday. And I haven't seen him personally, since 2012. But he still remains as a board director, right? And it was what it was a domino of, did you play dominoes? You know? It was a domino competition, I suppose, for the first part of the day. And then from 10 o'clock on, it was a memorial. I just spoke to DJ Riley today. He said it was a memorial for a DJ. I didn't know, I wasn't aware of that. I knew it was a memorial for somebody, but I didn't know it was a memorial for a DJ. But apparently it was a memorial for a DJ, and maybe even a little bit of a birthday party in there for somebody else. Okay. I said I'd try and make it. I'd go with James. Right? But I'd have to bring the kids. I'll walk. That's what I told Steve. And my heart was in the right spot. But when Saturday came, right? It was baking outside. I went next door. I was only there for 25 minutes. I did the little flag thing, right? Just to get people thinking about memberships, becoming a paying member, right? Because, I'm telling the guys, I'm not digging into my pocket to pay for a park event or to pay for a hall. I can't do that. I did that in the past. I'm $50,000 to $100,000 in the hole because of the foundation. I've done my bidding. The little bit that I bought for the flags, okay, fine. I want my money back as soon as the members start coming in and start paying, and we meet our quota of 150 members. Then give me back my money, and then you guys as a group can decide, do we need to get DJ insurance? Should we put a little away for the park? Or, do you want to do a hall party? Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I call them all on it. Do you want to pay for the park event? I don't. Because things cost money, right? Do I ever expect to get my money back from the foundation all those years promoting the good promote, right? Promoting the good, community wellness, universal school meal program, youth programs, just whatever programs, all kinds of programs, hey, USA, whatever. No, I don't. I don't expect it, right? But at the same time, I don't expect to have to pay to keep the foundation alive. And I already pay for the website every year. I pay for the annual registration with the, Registers of Societies every year. I pay for the domain name every year, right? And anything miscellaneous that might occur within a year, which if you're not active, it's pretty, flatline. So I probably fork out about maybe $320, depending on how much the website is. Because, things inch up, right? So we'll just say no more than $350 a year just to keep the foundation afloat. So I'm already doing my fair share. It's just I'm housebound. No car, no eyesight. I'm maxed to the bone with money right now because, I'm having to pay for this, pay. Right? Like, it's costing me $140 just to have my stove fixed. That's an extra $140 on top of that $1,900 that I'm paying for that stuff outside that was taken from the yard, which left me with nothing. Right? And whatever else I pay for. So anyway, James was saying, well, I'm going. Are you coming? And I'm like, well, I'm kind of doing, I wanted to, but, and it was like baking hot, like really hot. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, are you going, James? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, well, you go talk to Steve, right? Because James was so gung-ho and meeting the guys. So I didn't feel like, I felt that he would have been confident enough to introduce himself to Steve without me having to be there. in light of I would have had to walk there pushing Amari in a stroller.
You may not want to have to push her on.
Well, yeah, okay, with Andre, right? And in the baking heat, that's all I was thinking about, with Amari just recently having seizures, 2 in the last 2 months. So I got a little nervous with it, right? That's kind of what happened. I kind of got a little nervous with it. Plus, I don't like being outside too much with my eyes, because it hurts my eyes, believe it or not. I'm in the house, it's dark in the house, and my eyes deteriorate in the house, right? Every day I wake up, I say, Andre, they got worse. Every day. I go outside, I don't care if I'm in a car, or sitting outside, or, you know, having to work outside, like in the yard or something, if I'm out there, like even walking out the front door, going around the house to go into the basement, by the time I get down to the basement after being outside, my eyes are going like this. Like my eyes are hooped. I don't know what this eye doctor did. I was sitting in the living room the other day, last week or so, looking at Tisha. She was on the couch doing something. We were with Mari, right? Something was going on, right? Maybe getting them ready to go. Or no, the kids, I had some hat boxes with a bunch of fun stuff in. So the kids were going through the hat boxes. One got each hat box, big hat box, with all these little trinkets and stuff, right? Anyway, Tisha's looking at me, and she's here. I'm here, right? You know? She's looking at me, and she said, "Holy crap, Mom, what's going on with your eye? This one." I said, "I don't know. What's the matter with it?" "Oh, right in the center of your eye is this little white square," she says, "with these little dots above it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't know." So she has Andre look, but I have to look a certain kind of way, right? So, you know, she can only see it if I'm, you know, if I look that, like, keep my head like this, but look that way. And then she sees it. And then she had Andre look at it. And she said, "Maybe that's why your eyes are all blurry, Mom. There's something going on with your lens." So I don't know. So then the next day or so, I asked Marcane to see if he's seen what she's seen. He said no. What he saw was something round and like a bubble that was clouded. And you know, it kind of makes sense, because that's what my eye does. I'll be looking at something, and then all of a sudden, it's like the lens takes over with a little nano computer that starts changing things, and I can't. And then all of a sudden, my vision just starts to just get all weirded out. The same thing with these glasses, like it's stupid. So when I go outside, for any length of time, I don't care if I'm in a car or I'm walking from the front door to the basement or having to walk to Gateway Place, which is several blocks. Never mind trying to work outside in the yard. It fries my eyes. They can't tolerate the sunlight or the light compared to what's inside. But then my eyes can't cope with this light either, because I think what's happening here is I've had late-stage glaucoma for so long that I'm not just at the tail end of it, and there's no going back. And I do believe that whatever the doctor did, he made a mistake when he changed that lens with that thing, that operation that he did. Because as soon as he did that, things started to go wonkers, and that's all it's been doing. So anyway, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, well, if you're going, James, you know, I'm feeling pretty confident that you're going to hook up with him because, you know, you want to talk to him. This is something James wanted to do. And, you know, he's a man, right? So I said, okay, well, you go. Let him know that I couldn't make it because of the kids and with the heat. That was it. So he went, but apparently he didn't hook up with him for whatever reason. So, a couple days later, after Steve had his event, I phoned him. And I said, well, how did it go with meeting James? I couldn't make it. You know, it was too difficult to walk there in the heat. Oh, yeah. I could tell he was annoyed. No, he was more than annoyed. His feelings were hurt, I think. And he ended up brushing me off the phone. I gotta go, I'm busy. Talk to Riley. I said, okay. So I let him go. And then I went a couple of days later to go talk to James about the membership drive, right? And then I asked him, how did it go with Steve? Because he said, I didn't ask him that. I said, apparently you didn't get to meet Steve because Steve already said to me when I was on the phone with him that he never met James. I said, oh, well, why would that be? Because he went there, he specifically went there. Oh, well, I was busy. Okay, that's not my fault. So I guess James just let it slide. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I should have been there. You see, that's the thing, and that's why I'm like all emotional. So anyway, so when I did go talk to James, I said, okay, I talked to Steve, and he said he didn't get a chance to hook up with you. He goes, yeah, I couldn't find him or something. I don't know what he said, I can't remember. Just couldn't find him, or he was busy, or something was going on that he just couldn't hook up with them. And I said, oh, okay, well, what can you do, right? I should have went. So anyway, I phoned up Papa Riley today because I'm working on the banks. I'm doing the first bank, one bank at a time, right? And I'm making, I'm having to do what I do because we're signing on 2 new board directors with the banks so that if something happens to me, James doesn't have to wait for any length of time for Riley to come out this way and deal with something of importance if something of importance comes up, right? And so after getting off the phone with the bank manager today, there's certain steps that need to be done where everybody has their place, right? So I phoned up Riley to let him know after what I do, he's next. And then so on and so on. And then after that, the first bank that we're going to be dealing with, which we've had since the beginning of time, which is Van City Credit Union, is good to go. And then the other one, which used to be HSBC Bank, which is now Royal, I'm closing them all because just don't need them. And they're charging the foundation overdraft because everything's been dormant all these years because of all this bad stuff that's been going on in my life as my family members either die or disappear, which is not my fault. That's at the hands of other people. I just speak about it. I expose the corruption by speaking out about it as it happens. All right, so I'm past that now. I'll never stop speaking about it. But I am definitely going to try and help people to move forward in their lives at least and have opportunities. Because there's a lot of opportunities connected to the foundation. I suppose people just have to find their niche in it and work for that gainful employment. What?
We'll leave it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I'm on. This is going to be short anyway.
So you know.
Okay. So, I said to Riley, I said, oh, I spoke to Steve. He goes, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's kind of mad at me. He goes, yeah, he is. I said, oh, really? After all these years, DJ Steve is mad at me. Oh my God. And I'm like, why? Because I didn't go to the event? He goes, yeah. You know, he wanted you there. And I'm like, oh, geez, Riley, I'm sorry. Like, you guys just don't know what it's like with Amari and going blind and having to do things on foot. And, you know, if I'm not scared that the heat might bring on a seizure in Amari, I'm wondering how blind I'm going to be when I get back after walking there and maybe walking back. Because I don't want to spend any money right now because all my money is being taken away by other people. If it's not my bills, it's my credit cards. And if it's not that, I'm paying for things that I shouldn't have to be paying for. But I'm paying for them anyway. Andre will verify it. I'm not buying groceries. I'm penny pinching. Oh, I got an order at Canadian Superstore for $170. Easy to put it on my credit card. But I ain't pushing pay. No. Andre wanted to go and buy milk. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that. Because, you know, that's all we're getting is milk. Because I'm paying. Right?
What do you mean I wanted to go buy milk?
Well, you wanted me to spend more money. I said, you can't be going to the grocery store and spending $30, $40 on this, that, and everything. But
You asked me to buy milk.
yeah, just milk. Because if I send him to Nestor's, he'll spend $30 versus $8 at the corner store for a jug of milk. Because at Nestor's, it's $2 less. But at the corner store, it might be $8.50 for the jug of milk compared to $6. And I said, well, where I'm at with things right now, I'd rather spend the $8.50 for the jug of milk than the $6 at Nestor with another $30 tacked on because we bought this, and this. As I got a grocery shop on hold for $160 with no money except credit cards. Okay? So, anyway, because James was saying, I'll go, I thought, okay, that'll be great. Because then I don't have to stress out. My eyes, that's a big one, people. Right? It really is. And people don't understand that. Or, I don't know, Amari. Because, you know, they're still adjusting his medication. So anyway, and I felt confident that James would hook up with him. And if that would have happened, Steve wouldn't have been mad at me. But for some reason, James didn't hook up with him. And now Steve is mad at me. After all these years. Can you imagine that? And I feel like a heel. I do. Because what I should have done, and this is what I told Riley, what I should have done is I should have taken a taxi there. Whether I would have walked back or whether we took a taxi back, it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know. Was the stroller here? Because sometimes, huh?
No.
Last Saturday we didn't have the stroller?
Oh, a stroller? Yeah.
Yeah, it was here last Saturday?
Wait, which one? The black one?
Yeah, the black one.
Oh, no, that was not here last Saturday.
Well, there you go. We didn't even have the stroller last week. We have an old beat-up one in the garage that's been sitting there forever, but it needs a good spray down, and even then, right, you can't fold it up. You can't fold it up. So if I would have to take a taxi back, I would have had to pay $30 for a van to put a stroller in the back that won't fold up just so I can get the kids home. Because you're paying $15 extra for the van, quote unquote. So that's why I didn't go. And that's why I probably didn't take the taxi because, you know, I mean, what could I do, right? Unless I was willing to walk there and walk back. But every day I get fearful because of what's going on with my eyes. Now, if I go see the eye doctor, he ain't going to say nothing. He'll just say, oh, well, wait until your appointment in October. We'll check your, I don't know, it's to see how many octave nerves are left. Yeah. I'm going to follow up on that. He's going to check to see how many octave nerves I have left. So when I first seen him, or maybe it was Pollock, Dr. Pollock first, and then to Mackenzie, who is a surgeon who did that surgery, right? And shot up my eye with that laser that did nothing. When it all started with that, 13% vision in this eye, 2% vision left. With my eyesight deteriorating more and more and more, especially since that was done with that Roto-Rooter thing after he took out the cataract. He took out the cataract and replaced the cataract because it made it easier for him to do that Roto-Rooter thing that he did. Yeah. But he screwed me over, in my opinion. And don't forget, my bottles of whatever it was before and after surgery were all mixed up. And when I call him on it, he said, oh, it's not a big deal, this was that and that was that. It doesn't really matter if everything's all mixed up. Well, if that's the case, because antibiotic this or maybe something like that, if that's the case, then why tell people to take a specific way if it doesn't matter how you take it? They're scared of, it's gotta be this, so many drops on this day, and and then you do, after 3 days, then you start this, and then after 5 days you do it this, and then you stop that. If there's such a regime, and they make you scared to make sure you take it the way they had prescribed it, but yet my bottles were all mixed up with the wrong labels on the wrong bottles, so I was taking the wrong medicines at the wrong time in the wrong amount for the whole duration before, at the time of surgery, and even after surgery, because I didn't discover that until after 2 weeks when I was basically done all that medication because the surgery had been done. And he goes, oh, what's going on here? Oh, but it was too late by then. Well, maybe that's what affected my eyes. He says no. Yeah, okay, that's what you say. That's what you say. 13%, 2%. Eyes deteriorating, and you know what he's got to say about that the last time I seen him and complained about it? Well, at least I got you to see 3 extra years. Or 2 extra years, or whatever it was from the time I started seeing him. Oh, thanks. What happened to saving my eyesight for as long as you could? 2 or 3 years doesn't seem like a very long time. Especially when they're deteriorating more and more and more every day. And certain things trigger it, like sunlight is an example. Right? Well, my landlady wants me to go out in the yard and pull freaking weeds. Yeah, okay. So, I don't even want to do that. So, being that James was going to go and he was on his way out the door, I thought, okay, you deal with man to man. You don't need me there. You're a man. You go talk man talk, right? You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. But it didn't work. There was maybe I don't know. So now DJ Steve is mad at me. And I feel really bad. Because I should have taken a taxi no matter what. Even if I had to take a taxi there with no buggy and take a taxi back with no buggy. But I need a buggy for Amari, though. You see, that's the thing. So I would have had to walk. But I could have walked later on in the evening. But by that time, people, I'm so tired and worn out. And it would have been a ways, right? So anyway, I just wanted to say that. You can't win for losing. right? But I'll make it up to him. Eventually, we'll get that park event. If not something sooner before there. I got something in mind here. I'm making inquiries like the good old days. See if it's possible to book a little, I don't know what you want to call it, an environment where we can do a meet and greet, but after our members drive for something different. But I don't know. I can't make that decision on my own. It has to be more of a group decision. All I can do is see if I can get the permission from the owner of the business to do such a thing as I'm thinking like a meet and greet, right? Where members who signed up and are already paying members on this particular day is scheduled an event for a meet and greet, just, so everybody can go and, I don't know, I like maybe get a little sandwich or something, I don't know, and shake hands with their, and make it a kind of like a day event or something. But that has to come at the approval of the business owner. And if the business owner doesn't want to do that, then we'll have to think of something else. So I'm kind of working on that, right? Will I be there if I'm successful at putting it together? Yeah, sure. Who's going to watch the kids for me? Yeah, it's not. But if I suppose I could bring the kids, but I'd have to take a taxi there because there's no way I'm going to be able to walk it. If I go into a mall, into a little food store with like vegetables and stuff like that, like the good old days, and I try and shop for beans and tomatoes and cabbage and carrots, do you know that by the time I leave that little store in the mall, the last time I was there, which would have been months and months and months and months ago, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because of my eyes. The whole experience was frustrating. Is he okay?
Yes.
The whole experience was frustrating. And borderline frightening. Yeah. Because the reality is, I don't see that well. Where people seem to think I can, oftentimes, and they take it for granted. Either or. I made a mistake. I apologized to Steve. I told Riley to explain to him, not that it makes it better or anything like that, my situation, but that I'm sorry, apologize for me again, because I should have went, and I should have recorded and paid homage to that DJ who lost his life. Don't know how, don't know who that person was, but I should have been there for Steve, and I wasn't, even though I hadn't seen him for years. It's nice to know that somebody that you've known for years and years and years and years and years actually depended on you. But it's sad that I made a mistake. If I could have see, I'm sure it would have been different. It's this that's holding me back. As I struggle, you don't even know, I struggle. I struggle so hard in here trying to organize everything so I can pass the torch where it makes sense. Yeah.